In this grading wheat video, removing dockage with an MCi Dockage Tester will be discussed. Start with a 1,025 gram sample unless there's excess dockage. With excess dockage, get 1,125 gram sample. That way, once the dockage is removed, there will be sufficient wheat to determine test weight. With a 3-screen dockage tester, you have the aspirator. The air is set on 5. If the air is on the fan motor, that air setting will be on a half. The feed for wheat is set at 2. There is the aspirator gate, which is always open before the machine is turned on. Check to make sure that the aspirator was emptied from the last sample before you run a new sample. You have dockage in the number 1 pan, clean wheat in the number 2 pan, shrunken and broken if it's more wheat by weight, or dockage if it's more dockage by weight in the number 3 pan, and dockage in the number 4 pan. In this machine, there's a JGS riddle in the number 1 slot to remove the large dockage. In the number 1 pan, the aspirator gate is opened to put dockage in the number 1 pan. You have a number 4 by half slotted sieve in the number 2 pan, which is clean wheat, and a number 5 round hole sieve over the number 3 pan, which will produce shrunken and broken or dockage. If it's more wheat by weight, it's shrunken and broken. If it's more dockage by weight, it's dockage, and you have dockage in the number 4 pan. The steps for using the MCi tester is to obtain a 1,025 gram sample. Before you turn on the machine, check the aspirator by opening the gate. Turn on the machine, dump the sample into the machine. Watch the number 2 pan to make sure it doesn't overflow. Once the sample is clear of the machine, empty the aspirator in the number 1 pan after turning off the machine. Combine the number 1 and number 4 pans for dockage. If the number 3 pan is over 50% by weight dockage, add it to the number 1 and 4 pan dockage. If it's over 50% by weight wheat, weigh it out as shrunken and broken. Weigh and calculate the percentage dockage in shrunken and broken. If the number 3 pan is declared shrunken and broken, add the shrunken and broken back to the original sample before you determine test weight. Determine the test weight. Use an 0.64 by 3/8 slotted sieve to remove the shrunken and broken back out of the sample before weighing out about a 30 gram sample to pick FM and about a 15 gram sample for picking damage. Here's a video for using the MCi. Now we're going to grade a load of wheat with the MCi Dockage Tester. Now with wheat, you want to start out with between 1,025 and 1,050 gram sample. Before you do test weight, you'll want to run it through the machine. But the first thing you want to start out doing is checking the moisture, because everything that you get off the truck goes in the bin. You load the hopper with the wheat. I like to load it up to the top of the hopper. You want to let it in, empty that, and start the moisture machine to check the moisture. We have 12.1% moisture wheat. Now put the entire sample back together. So 12.1% on our moisture. We're ready to run the sample now to remove the dockage and the shrunken and broken kernels. In this machine on the top, I have a JGS riddle. I have a number 4 by half slotted screen in the middle, and I have a number 5 round hole screen on the bottom. Anytime you run the MCi kicker, the first thing you do is check the aspirator to make sure it was emptied after the last load. My feed is set on 2 and my air is set on 5. Now on this machine, the top pan is always dockage and the bottom pan is always dockage. The number 3 pan is either shrunken and broken or dockage. If it's more wheat by weight, then it's shrunken and broken. If it's more dockage by weight, it's dockage, and of course your clean sample right in this number 2 pan. You start it by checking the aspirator, and you finish it by checking the aspirator. You've got the dockage that came over the riddle, plus the dockage removed by the aspirator, and the dockage in your bottom pan. So you weigh them all together, and you've got 6 grams of dockage, or 2.4%. This is a good time to point out that sometimes you'll forget to hit the memory button when you obtain your sample weight. In this case, I had ran a 251 gram sample, weighed it out, and hit the memory key to calculate shrunken and broken on a prior sample. When I weighed out the 1,025 gram sample, I neglected to hit the memory key, so when I got the percentage for shrunken and broken, it gave me 2.4%, which in error, which 2.4 is your 6 grams divided by 251. In the real dockage is 6 grams divided by 1,025 grams is 0.6% dockage. Note also that when we weigh out the shrunken and broken from this sample, the scales is still using 251 grams rather than 1,025, and the shrunken and broken percentage is also in error. Now the shrunken, if you look at the pan, it's more wheat by weight, so it's shrunken and broken. 7.8 grams SBK, or 3% shrunken and broken. You have your clean sample. You're ready to do the test weight. But before you do the test weight, you got to add it back into the shrunken and broken back in, or you will overestimate test weight. Striker straight up and down, 3 zigzag motions. And I have 59.5 pound test weight. That's a number 2 hard red winter wheat according to test weight. Now I've already got the shrunken and broken, so I need to get a 30 gram sample for to pick foreign material, and a 15 gram sample to pick the damage. To do that, I need to remove the shrunken and broken. You just 0.64 by 3/8 slotted sieve. You get that SBK back out, and you're now ready to weigh out a 30 gram sample. I have 32.6 grams for FM. And I want 15 grams for damage. I have 16.4 grams. So I'm now ready to pick my foreign material and my damage. The steps that we used with the MCi Kicker was we obtained the sample. We did a quick check of the sample for sample grade factors or special grade factors. We determined the moisture We used the machine to remove the dockage and the shrunken and broken kernels, but we weighed those out. We added the shrunken and broken kernels back to the sample, determined test weight. The shrunken and broken was removed back out of the sample with a 0.64 by 3/8 slotted sieve. Then a 30-gram sample was obtained for picking FM, and about a 15-gram sample was obtained for picking damage. The only fair way to buy wheat is to grade it accurately. And to grade wheat accurately, you need good quality equipment and trained personnel.